Alright, here we've got a good example of where in a park the tree is now getting in the way of us walking through it, and we just need to do a standard crown raise. Okay, we're lifting the tree. In this case I'm just going to use loppers because it's easiest, and we'll take off the lower branches. Okay, over here you can see how this branch is bending downwards, and we don't want that at all. We want the tree to be growing up and then to create a large canopy. So I'll just continue over here taking off these lower branches, trying to get them as close as possible. This is about the largest, the thickest I'll go with the loppers. Okay, anything thicker than that you're going to break your loppers, so just be careful of that, because that could be quite an expensive operation. Unfortunately with the ficus trees, they're just always drooping down, so I will take off this whole branch over here so that in the years to come it just won't be much of a problem. Again, over here we've got this big drooping arching branch, so I might take it off to, say for instance, this point over here. Can't get a good angle on it, but next to this node. And now you can see, if you come from that side over there, there's a branch going up over there. Okay, I'll get that about, say, 1 centimeter away from that, from the branch, and then it'll grow up, and that'll give us a better upward angle. Again, I'll do the same here. A lot of dead in this tree. And this entire branch I'll take off, and even this lower one here. Right, so yeah, if I'm going to take off a larger branch, what I want to do is I want to leave a bit of branch left, so about, literally about 4 millimeters. Okay, so about here, and that way the tree is going to grow over and seal that wound quite nicely. Notice that I'm doing an undercut. Okay, and that's so that when you do cut the top, it doesn't just tear off. Most people do that. It's very common. Watch out for it, because you get a huge tear of the bark all the way down. It damages the tree quite badly. And I'll just take this branch off. Okay, and here we've got a very good example of how to cut a tree. It's nice and neat and clean. It's not right up against the stem. You've got a bit of cambium over here, and that'll seal and grow over quite easily. And over here we've got a good example. This was a little bit too far out, and the tree is going to sort of take a lot of time. It's also going to leave quite a big bump over here. You want it a little bit closer, but you don't want it right hard up against the main stem. Okay, and then there it is, starting to seal and cover. Okay, I'll just take this lower branch off over here. It's going to be quite a difficult branch to Alright, go to the side then. Okay, it's important just to step back away from the tree, because when you're pruning like I am, sometimes you'll be pruning too much. Good to step back, have a look at your work and see if how you're going so far. So right here, I'll notice that I've got a little bit more to trim over there, and then I'll be pretty much done with this guy. Okay, so that was a little bit more than a third of the plant, I know, but at least now for the next year, maybe more, we won't have to prune at all. Okay, here's a good example of a tree that needs pruning. You've got suckers coming from the bottom, and that all needs to be cut back. So I'll just go ahead and do that. If you come a little bit closer, you'll notice that you have to cut the branch at an angle so that the water runs off. A lot of the cuts in the parks I'm seeing are being cut flat, and what happens is that water actually sits on here. Like this one was originally cut flat, and then I've had to cut this so that the water goes down. Right, and I'll just start taking it for these suckers over here. Here's a good example of when you cut a branch and it's too far out. What happens is that you'll have more branches growing off this. So what I'll do now is I'll cut this a bit closer to the main stem. And again, if you look on this side over here, now hopefully my mistake, but hopefully that'll close up quite nicely. Then I'll go over here. You see this branch will eventually become a problem. So even with a small branch like this, I'll do a little undercut and a top cut. Okay. And again, you see this cambium layer. If you take the camera over to this side, that cambium layer will grow over, okay? Whereas if it was really hard up against her, I wouldn't have that little piece of skin to close the wound afterwards. Okay, can you see this is a good example of a branch that's growing down, in a downward direction, and of course we don't want that. So look what happens when I take this little branch away. And now look at the tree. We've got good upward growth at 45-degree angles. I am tempted to go and take this branch off over here, but I think I'll leave it. I don't think it's totally necessary because that'll spread out quite nicely. And already, if I'm standing here, you can see in the years to come, I won't have a problem with any of the branches. Just want to show you another demonstration of suckers because it's quite common. Those you always want to pull off. If you pull them off, okay, what happens is that it sort of rips that stem out of the tree, and the chances of it growing back is a lot smaller than if you were to cut it. So where possible, rip them out and tear them off. Here's another example. So if I was to cut, like I'm seeing a lot of the guys, you can see here they've just cut this back. Now it's a little bit late. This will always shoot up. So what I like to do preferably when it goes like this is try and tear it off like that. And yes, it takes longer for it to heal back, but it doesn't give you that constant problem of the plant growing back. And I'll do that for all of these guys. And just tear them off like that. Okay, so that sums it up.